Hey guys, it's the History Nerd, and we're back with another exciting episode of Hearts of Iron 4.0 Canada. I want to first apologize for the lack of a video yesterday. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I was having some issues with my blood sugar and couldn't really do much in the way of recording, but they've gone and fixed themselves. Well, at least I've taken care of and fixed them, and I'm feeling much better. So let's get back to fighting the war. Well, potentially the war. I mean, obviously the war hasn't started yet, and will be starting any time now. For those keen-eyed viewers who have noticed that this Great Lake here is red while the rest are blue, yeah, I don't really know why the national borders are going across the lakes like that, but that's why this one's red. It's not because it's a lake of blood or anything, which would be insane. Yeah, so really we're waiting for the war, and I am going to be back when we get closer to it. But oh, also, hopefully you guys can hear me a lot better. Turns out I turned the gain on my microphone completely off and forgot to turn it back up. So, whoops. Everything should be good now, I hope. Anyway guys, I will see you when something exciting happens to happen. See you in a bit. Well, taking a look around Canada, there are a few things we can do. We can see we've got low manpower warning. So what I'm going to do, whoops, not click on that. I'm going to click on this and just tone down the recruitment of the next corps. So we'll hold off on the Vandus. We'll get them started. But we'll hold off for now because what I also want to do is head on over to, of all places, Malta. And I want to deploy all of our close air support fighters to Malta. So because we're allied with the United Kingdom, we can actually do this. We can deploy our land and I think air forces, or land and air forces, obviously, and the air force. That's what I'm doing right now. What I meant to say was air and naval forces. I think we can also have them base themselves out of allied ports, but we can also deploy our forces to allied airfields, which is going to be handy. Now, the reason why I picked Malta instead of French possessions is just, I don't know what kind of defensive the French have, and when war happens, and you know, if it's as I would expect it to be UK and France versus Germany and Italy, the Italians are going to start pushing into French territories pretty darn quickly. Keeping our air force on Malta will at least protect them a little bit, because doing a land invasion is going to be pretty out of question for the early stages of the war. Whereas, you know, pushing into the desert, that's going to be pretty easy. I don't want to get my air forces overrun, so it's going to take a while. I was going to say it's going to take a while. These guys are all set and ready to go. We don't have any orders to give them, but they are ready to receive them, so yay! We've got our air force deployed there. Also, if we go and take a look up into southern England, this is where I'm going to be deploying my strategic bombers. We've only got 11. I'll wait a little bit until we get more bombers, and then just start deploying them to Great Britain right away. Because why not? That seems like a good idea. Get the Air Force there where they need to be before the trouble starts. It's going to be tough enough to get our infantry over there, but we'll find a way. Certainly we've got enough transports. Our destroyer fleet is looking okay. It could be a reason why we're running into manpower issues too. I imagine these destroyers definitely do take manpower out. We do have 3 different areas, obviously, as you can see. Air, our Army, Air, and Navy. And so, you know, we can't make sailors fight in the trenches, and we can't make, you know, infantrymen fly. There's nothing else to that sentence. And so, what else have we got going on? For technology, I'm getting the excavation and construction up. Not really good for the war effort, but good for the home effort. We should be focusing on getting some more infrastructure up as well. We really could do more civilian infrastructures. But changing away from an early mobilization doesn't seem right at the moment. And obviously, no more conscription, so our manpower issues, well, they're just going to have to sort themselves out, which is why I toned down the recruitment. Anyway, that's enough rambling. I'll see you guys when I got something exciting to share. See you in a bit. Alright, so we got a national focus done, and now that it's the 6th, then I can actually give a sort of review talk about this game and not just play it. I really wish there was message settings. I really wish I could have it pause the game when these things finished, so that time doesn't keep ticking. Anyway, we got the equipment effort done, and potentially another equipment effort? I don't know. Maybe mechanization effort? That would probably be good. Get our motorized units started on getting to be more advanced. If we take a look, at the tech for motorized. Where are you at? Well, let's hold off here because we got something going on in the world. With German forces on the border poised to attack, Lithuania has given in to a German ultimatum demanding the surrender of the old Prussian territory of Memel. It was passed to Lithuania by the Treaty of Versailles, but has now been reintegrated into the region of Ostpreußen. Have we yet reached the extent of German territorial ambitions in Europe? Experts are doubtful. Another batch of maps made obsolete. That's so true. So let's check things out. That didn't add to world tension too much, but we can see Prussia here got a little fatter. So there you go, Prussia. Up next is Danzig, I guess. Well, you still have Czechoslovakia to finish off. So the Germans still have a few things to take care of. Right, the tech. Let's go back to that, shall we? Mechanized, so we'll get half-tracks, which will be obviously much better than pickup trucks. Well, pickup trucks, I say pickup trucks, it's not like that. It's the big-ass, you know, military flatbed trucks. But, yeah, half-tracks are going to be better. They're better for fighting. So that's going to be obviously a focus for us, considering half of our units are motorized. Just makes sense in my head to make sure they're the best units they can be. Great battle plan. Excellent. What else have we got? We should probably get some prepared defenses up. And just get our military technology developed to the point where we're a modern fighting army and not a relic of the Cold War. Wow. That does not fit for the timeline. A relic of the Great War. There we go. Yeah. So, without further ado, I'll see you guys when something exciting happens. Well, we can modify the government. That's slightly exciting. Is there a way to get better manpower? Probably not. Quartermaster General is just air-based construction. We're going to go for a small arms company, because even though we are going motorized, they still use small arms, and we're still going to have infantry. So small arms tech is just generally a good thing to go for a smaller nation that's going to have to be focused on getting in the dirt and fighting, and not, you know, tanks and all the fun stuff there. So, yeah, I'll see you guys when something exciting happens. See you in a bit. Alright, so it's time to pick a new tech research. We got a few places we could go. I'm definitely leaning towards getting 1939 infantry weapons up, but we've also got our medium tanks, which is going to be the better tank line to go down, especially for a nation like Canada. So while I do think, you know, the tank is going to be a good thing to grab, first off, I think we should probably get the brand new infantry equipment, and then when we're done with prepared defense, we can throw in on the medium tank. Because, taking a look at our template for our infantry units, we can see they come along with a light tank unit, and I'm going to change that to a medium. Because that's just going to work out better. It will mean, obviously, some production issues, but we're not really producing much in the way of... Well, I guess we are producing light tanks, and they do need to be replaced, but eventually we'll swap it over to medium tanks, because they're just better. That's about it. We should also probably look at getting research into a new destroyer class as well. For some reason, I didn't grab those extra research slots, despite saying those are important to grab. So, you know, we'll get them eventually. I have faith in my abilities to potentially do that. For those unaware, I'm not the world's greatest grand strategy game player, but I do love these games. So, what do we got going on here? German troops have crossed into Bohemia and Moravia, ostensibly to restore order to the regions in the wake of the collapsing Czechoslovakian government. In Prague, the occupying forces announced the creation of an autonomous protectorate within the German Reich. With German support, Slovakia has been declared independent under the leadership of Josef Tito. The nation of Czechoslovakia is no more. So much for peace. And we got our mechanization effort, which is lovely. Yay! Now, while I'm thinking about it, let's grab one of these extra research slots. I told you I'd have faith in my abilities to remember that. Let's go take a look at Fat Germany now, and really Danzig is the only other place they could push, unless the German AI decides to take an interesting route and go into Yugoslavia, which could potentially happen. An ultimatum has been delivered to the Albanian government by Italian diplomats, demanding that they submit to complete military occupation. King Zog has abdicated after realizing the futility of resistance, and Albania will now be ruled in a personal union under King Victor Emmanuel III. Italy looks to the Balkans. So even Italy's getting some stuff out of this deal. We can't stand for this, can we? As democratic nations? No, we gotta put a stop to this territorial land grabbing that's going on. But what can Canada do all alone? Not much. Yeah, so the world is getting close. And I'll be back when we get even closer. See you guys in a bit. Alright, so we've understood the principles of getting a prepared defense. Now it's time to look into the benefits of having a tank that's slightly bigger than a light tank, but nowhere near as big as a heavy tank. Somewhere in the middle, something medium. I think that'll be a good fit. I mean, not much else has happened. We're taken away. The reason I stopped producing those units was obviously to bring our manpower up, and taking a look at this tab here, I understand it a lot more. We have a total manpower of 268,000 men, and of that we've used 2.8 thousand in Navy, 2,500 in the Air Force, and 209,000 in our Army, leaving us with the remaining 53,000 now for filler. And I think I'm going to keep them as filler, because when you're fighting a war, it's good to have people, you know, who can replace the people who die in the trenches. As rough as that sounds, you don't want to be in a situation where your entire army runs out of people. So let's get our construction speed. Well, maybe it might not be a bad idea to start pushing a bit more of a military focus here. That's still a year's worth of research. It's also many years ahead. Considering what's going to be happening, it might be a good idea to research some military police. We've got an idea for how those units will work. Because we are going to need probably to have some of those units for you know, holding occupied territory. So I mean, even if Italy spreads out and takes all of Africa and we're able to take it back, because in my head we're unbeatable, once we get into, you know, Italian-held areas, so Ethiopia and Libya, we're going to need units in place to make sure those people don't want to rise up and say, you know, cause damage to the region. In Italy itself, in Africa, it won't mean that much, but if we do decide to occupy Italy, it'll be a good idea to have some military police around just to keep order. We got our weapons done, which is great news. We should probably take a look at getting some improved artillery produced as well. And before I unpause, something you definitely want to make sure you do when you research these new techs, so like I did with Light Tank 2, you're definitely going to want to do the same with your infantry equipment. It'll come as a big surprise how much infantry equipment you're going to need to replace. Well, maybe it won't come as a big surprise if, you know, you're actually expecting that number to show realistically, but yeah, we need 15,600 units. That's going to take a while to get. Thankfully, we don't have too many people to have to worry about rearming. Let's get some more civilian factories up, and when I think civilian factories, I think, can we get anything in the far north? No, we can't. But why not? Alberta, you get some, and British Columbia, you can get some too. Oh, I feel bad for the rest of the prairies. Alright, Saskatchewan and Manitoba. That should be all the civilian infrastructure we need, though, right? Yeah, that's not true. We'll probably wind up converting those to military factories by the end of the game, but for now, let's try and get production speed up, because that's something we should have been doing 3 years ago. Anyway, as we continue to let time tick by and wait for war, I won't make you guys wait. So I'll see you when we got something more exciting to share. See you in a bit. Alright, well, it's been an eventful day. Italy has joined the Axis, and we've gained another research slot. So we might as well grab the last one. I don't know. Would we want secret weapons or nuclear effort, or probably neither? Let's be honest, we should... What is this going to do? You know what? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just doing some reading. I should have done this off screen. We'll go with the Liberty Ethos. That would, well, hold on, because we are getting pretty darn close to war. So, ooh, armor technology. Probably should have looked at that before I started researching armor, but hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's get equipment focus. Why not? And with our new research slot... Oh, see, now I had assumed that we would get new destroyers in 39. I don't know why I assumed that, but we don't have new destroyers in 39. Great French. The Eduardo Daladier cabinet have decreed the dissolution of Parti Communiste Français, the French Communist Party. Wow. Ever since Soviet Russia signed the Non-Aggression Pact with Nazi Germany, there have been talks of prescribing communism in France. The decree was instated following the agreement between the two nations for the partition of Poland. Edouard Daladier took the opportunity as support for a ban rose, and even leftist papers started advocating for the abolition of the French Communist Party. That may have been necessary, and it definitely had something to do with the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Feels like I just stumbled over that name. Diplomats from Germany and the Soviet Union concluded what observers are describing as a historic agreement today with the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Named after German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop and his Soviet counterpart Vyacheslav Molotov, this non-aggression pact stipulates that neither side will ally itself to nor aid an enemy of the other. Foreign diplomats warned that this treaty effectively gives Germany a free hand to wage war in Europe without fearing the Soviet Union. That does seem odd, doesn't it? We need a tech, and it's not going to be a destroyer. So we might as well go for convoy sailing, which should help us somehow. We've got 14 ships now, so that should be okay for convoy protection, but you know, the more the merrier, and I may have to split these guys up, or I may just have the group do more than one area, and that's probably what I'll wind up doing, because splitting your forces, that's dangerous. Although hopefully all we see are submarines, and these ships are going to be designed to sink those bastards. So, with that, the world marching closer to war, I will see you guys when something exciting happens. See you in a bit. Alright, something's afoot. Germany has declared war on Poland. We can see the front explode into action. Well, we can't see the action, but we can see that there's battles happening pretty much everywhere. And in fact, Germany's already got a little bit of a push in through Slovakian lands there, I'm guessing. Or it was some kind of paratrooper attack or something. Regardless, the Germans have already started making territorial gains in Poland. Poland has joined the Allies. Well, this means we're pretty much at war now, I think. I mean, we've got full-on vision of this whole situation. I do believe we're at war. So, with that, let's get convoy sailing done. I've gone through and started researching encryption, and we will go ahead and research... Have I got some land doctrines yet? Not yet. I am going for that for the focus. So, research-wise, well, let's see what we can do. 50% off on that. I think that seems like a very good idea, although would we want the support weapons instead? I think we want the support weapons because that covers pretty much everyone. So let's give that a good old research, and I'm thinking... Although now is not necessarily the time, but I'm thinking I want to restructure the way my divisions are set up a little bit. To do that, I'm going to need 46 days for those medium tanks to be done, but that is kind of a moot point. We are at war. Now, I don't think we're at war with Italy. They are in the Axis, though. But I think we're just at war with Germany as it stands now, right? Oh, no, we're not. England hasn't got in yet. Sorry, Britain hasn't got in yet. And I do apologize for that, calling Britain England. It's not the country. It's just something that I do in my head, and I am consciously trying to avoid it. So for all you Welsh and Scots and anything else in Great Britain that's not covered by English, I do humbly apologize. And I'm working on it. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I don't think we're actually in this war. I mean, we're allied to it, right? Like, England, or Britain, what's going on here? Fighting a defensive war. Yeah, no, so we should be. Are we not? Do I have to declare war on Germany? I shouldn't. This is bizarre that I don't even know if I'm at war. We're not. So I guess the UK hasn't called us in yet. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, let's select that. There you go. We're in. Yeah, that's what I was expecting to see. Welcome. We're here. All right. So, let's get this started, shall we? How many strategic bombers have I got? 48. It's not as much as I want, but get deployed there. And we'll work on getting you guys up quicker. Now, we must be at war with Italy then. Good. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, that's wonderful. Are we at war with nationalist Spain by any chance? We're not. All right. Well then, Canadian Corps, let's get you all over to Halifax. And in fact, let's get you guys on the train all over to Halifax so you guys can get there quicker. In the meantime, we'll take our close air support, and I'm wondering, are they close enough for North Africa? Lacking range. Yeah, that is indeed what I was afraid of. Okay, then you guys can cancel that. Once we get troops on the ground, I'll feel a lot better about having 100 close air support vehicles stationed in Tunisia. Until I've got my army here to actually protect that, though, I don't think that's necessarily going to be a good idea. Haha, suck it, Australia. We beat you to the fun. We didn't even wait a day. Oh, I've done my nation a disservice. Looks like the Poles have pushed back in Prussia. That's exciting to see. And unfortunately, they're also having to put troops along the line against the Soviet Union. Never fight a two-front war, Poland. Belgium wants to send us a volunteer division? Okay. Sure. I don't know why, and I hope it won't arrive in Canada. But, thank you? We can see how busy the front has got. So we've got bombers of all descriptions along with fighters flying above the skies. We've got a front line that's busy as all hell, including a battle here that the French handedly won. Let's see how things are going with the Germans. And it's looking pretty uneventful, actually. So that's a bit of a letdown. How are our boys doing there? Ready and waiting, looking for a target. I'm gonna say let's strategically bomb North Germany. Strategic bombing, and we will go with nighttime bombing. It seems like a good idea. So we've got now, we can see eventually our bombers, there they go, flying on off to do their mission, and we can always check up on them if we hit, I think, the strategic view for air, and we can check on our bombers and see that they are indeed doing their bombing thing. Have fun, lads. Come back home in one piece. Yeah. So, what do we got going on here? A little ship contact between 3 Italian convoys and the Royal Navy. I think we can tell how well that's going to go. We've got 15 destroyers here. We should probably get them out and doing something. Before I do that, actually, you are assigned to the Atlantic Squadron, so this will be a good test. Let's send you guys on convoy escort in Newfoundland Sea, probably the Labrador Sea. Can you make it out to the North Atlantic Ridge? And then hopefully the Royal Navy will take over there. We might actually want to... Nope, that is it. All right, lads. Go protect our convoys. And there they go. They're gonna go out and sail away and do their Navy thing. I don't think that's... yeah, that's fine that the close air support aren't doing anything. Swap back to that view and we'll take the Royal Canadian Corps. And we will tell them to go ahead and... oh, why did they come to the St. Lawrence? I mean, I don't blame them. If war erupted in Europe, I would absolutely volunteer to go fight in North America, but... that's nice of them. We don't need your help here, Belgium. I don't even know what you're going to do, and I don't have control over them because they're a volunteer force. I've got the basic startings of the Van Deus up in training. They're small enough that I could use them as some kind of special forces unit to do things like port landings, because I haven't invested properly in Marines, but that's neither here nor there. All that really matters is us getting into this area here. Now, one of the things you are going to want to be very cognizant of doing while you're fighting a war in North Africa is drawing your own front lines yourself. Because otherwise, the game will have you station troops all through places nobody should have troops stationed in. Things are not looking good for Britain in Egypt here. Are we getting at least a little bit of a push into Ethiopia? It doesn't really look like it. We got the South Africans up here. Perhaps they'll assist in that push. Oh, Britain's turned the tide. Turning it into a victory. That's good news. Let's see. Well, now that we're officially at war, I think it would be fair to change our economy over to a wartime economy. That seems like a decent enough shift to make. We got our troops coming into Casablanca, and they should be arriving shortly. Hopefully we'll be able to keep them supplied. I don't see a problem with that. And how are our boys doing? Good enough, I guess. It's tough to tell. And I mean, it's only 48 bombers. We're running at a mission efficiency of 100% though, so I mean, they've got to be doing something then, right? Canadian Corps getting ever closer, and reinforcing this front here is going to be priority number one. What we could do... nah, I want to wait. I want to wait to make sure my troops can get into a position to keep that airfield safe. And honestly, I'm glad we don't have to worry about hitting nationalist Spain at the moment as well. Although opening up a front there might not be a bad idea. How are things looking here against Italy? I'm hoping France can hold them off. And nobody wants to move here, and I cannot blame them. Although Germany is stacking quite a few units on that border. We'll see if the French can hold them off. They're in a pretty darn good defensive position. Poland, unfortunately, is, well, they're not doing well. Okay, so we've got medium tanks researched. Might as well throw in on a medium tank destroyer. I don't know if I'll ever build them, but you might as well do it. Well, I'm thinking I would like to get this editing done. So, I think what we'll do is toss artillery there on the infantry units. So that'll be good. And then we'll take our motorized and we will add in a new battle group of medium tanks, which we should have enough to do. Perfect. And now we're going to need to make sure we're actually building these things. So let's take our light tank and swap that over to a medium tank. And then let's take and add in some artillery, because we'll need that as well. And we might as well get that up by the trucks. And we'll take it out of bomber and put it into artillery. Yeesh, I don't like that, but bombers aren't what's needed. A modernized army is. So those units should hopefully trickle in As time goes by, it looks like we are certainly lacking all the tungsten. So we might as well set up a trade route with the British Raj to get some. Would that be good? No. I like trading within the Commonwealth, but just strictly on a wartime trade. I think trading with the US makes far more sense. Anyway, we got our troops here. They're fairly disorganized, and their fighting strength is nicht so gut. So let's see if we can get those guys, I don't know, rested first. It sucks that we gotta rest them now, but I don't want to throw them on the front line just yet. Oh, that would explain it. Well, no, I mean, that shouldn't dominate it, right? We'll just be missing equipment on those guys for quite a long time. Yeah, you just need 50 medium tanks. How long will that take? German forces advancing in Poland have succeeded in capturing Warsaw. Sporadic fighting continues in Prague, or Praga, and obviously not Prague if it's in Poland, and a few other districts, but organized resistance in the city seems to have ceased. The Polish government reportedly evacuated the city as the first German units entered Warsaw suburbs, and their present location is unknown. Fighting against the German invaders continues in other parts of the country, but the loss of the capital is a serious blow to the Polish war effort. Poland didn't really stand a chance. Poland has capitulated. Ignacy Mozycki has announced that the Polish nation can no longer withstand the pressures from the occupying German forces, committing travesties throughout the country. The Polish government has gone into exile. Their main forces have capitulated, and the German Reich is now in control of the home area. Though the war against German Reich and the rest of the Axis continues, this is an unfortunate setback for all of the Allies. Indeed, dark times. I bet your fighting strength isn't all that great. Oh yeah, because of all the artillery we're going to need to send you guys as well. Well, we don't have time for that. Let's get you settled over in there. And really, we probably should have taken the boat through the Mediterranean. It looks like we've still got some control over it, although those are quite a few Axis forces flying around, and us without air cover. Oh, but we got some Spitfires in the air around Malta, so that is reassuring. You guys are going to take a while to get there, aren't you? I don't necessarily want to transport you guys by rail, but it might be the better bet here. Just get going quick, and hopefully we'll reorganize once you get there. Not that the infrastructure in this area is going to be all that great, but it's going to be better than walking. Well, the border against Italy is staying relatively stable. And I think it's fair to say the Germans aren't going to break through the Maginot Line, throwing single units at the line. But yeah, things are looking promising for France. Soviet troops have occupied eastern Poland officially for the purpose of protecting Belarusian and Ukrainian minorities from the chaos that followed the collapse of the Polish government. German forces have withdrawn from these areas in good order, resulting in Poland's effective partition between the two powers. Right, there was no collusion there at all, Russia. We all believe you. Nah, that's too far away. That's still too much. Military police are coming along nicely. And why not? Let's get ourselves a little bit better in the anti-tank research. I'm sure we'll be adding those sooner than later. And we can now shift our close air support vehicles over to Tunisia. And then hopefully we'll be able to get them assisting our forces in that area. What to go for next? Seems like going down this route might not be the best, although, well, Volunteer Corps, we're not going to have to worry about that. Yeah, okay, let's go with an armor effort then. to research in the armor trees while we're researching an armored anti-tank gun. That seems like a perfect time to get a boost to things. Alright, well, we can have you operating in North Africa relatively effectively. I understand it's a big theater for you guys, but, like that, we have tanks, but we don't probably have any tanks in the field there. Japan's joined the Axis. Well, let's hope they don't have eyes on Vancouver. And let's get your front line drawn. Just around like that, I think, would be good for now. Military police research is done. That is handy dandy. Let's, I don't think we've got any of those guys in the field at all, so let's not even bother with that. Let's try for some anti-aircraft guns. What was I going to do here? No, it wasn't even here. It was here. Edit this militia to give them a military police unit, save it, and now we can use our cavalry. We can train up some cavalry units and have them act as sort of a, very Canadian, mind you, a mounted police force, which would be a good thing to have. Now, I'm wondering how poorly this is going to affect, like, we're probably going to be taking huge attrition damage here, but I think if we could pocket off a large chunk of this, not that I necessarily want to go pushing into this desert, but I guess if we can connect French Tunisia to British Egypt, we'll be sitting relatively pretty in Africa. So that's going to be the plan for the Canadian Corps in the next video. Sorry, no fighting, but we're ready to fight. So yeah, I think what we're going to be doing is, our first objective obviously is going to be securing Tripoli, which will get us the city and the port there, get some supplies flowing in, and then after that, Benghazi, link up with the Brits in Egypt, and hopefully just close the rest of these guys down. Hell, if we can leave, well, I guess they're in their own territory, so they're probably going to be supplied, but in my headcanon, if we can get these guys unsupplied, you know, we might not have to waste that much in the way of manpower securing all this land from the Italians. We can just send a single truck in to basically drive around and clean it up, and then assist Britain with the push into Ethiopia. Now that's pretty much Africa taken care of. Obviously, you know, it all hinges on everything going according to plan, and that plan hinges on us first taking Tripoli, so that's going to be our first objective next go-round. Yay! War's finally here, which is an odd sentence to say, but for a war game, it's good to be at war. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thumbs up if you have enjoyed today's episode. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.